Hello and welcome to a Black Talk Radio News commentary. My name, of course, is Scotty Reed. Just to remind you, please support the work of the nonprofit Black Talk Media Project. You can make a tax-deductible donation today to the properties that it manages, and one of those is blacktalkradionetwork.com. All right, so let's talk about Juneteenth. Juneteenth has become an official holiday in the United States. And while I expected there to be some opposition to that bill, particularly from Republicans and white Republicans at that, although I'm not sure what some of these black Republicans think, I don't know about them. But anyway, so it's become an official holiday. It's going to be signed into law by President Joe Biden. It'll become a federal holiday. So I'm hearing, seeing all of these different reactions to Juneteenth becoming a holiday, and it just really doesn't make sense. And I'm gonna just go over some of the stuff that I've come across from those who don't want to see Juneteenth as a federal holiday. But first of all, what is Juneteenth? Let's take a look at this excerpt. Juneteenth, also known as Emancipation Day, symbolizes the end of slavery and commemorates the reading of Republican President Abraham Lincoln's General Order Number 3 on June 19, 1865 in Texas, which announced the freeing of victims of slavery. So that's all it is. It's something that was created by victims of slavery down in Texas, recognizing that they had been emancipated. Now, slavery was not ended. Legally, it wasn't ended. Constitutionally, it wasn't ended, because as I've talked about over the years, the 13th Amendment slavery exception clause, because it says slavery and involuntary servitude shall be abolished except as a punishment for crime. And then we know what happened after the Civil War, especially in the South, with all the black codes and things of that nature, Jim Crow and what have you. So I don't got a problem with Juneteenth. I'm gonna go to a Juneteenth event in a couple of days to help my daughter, who will have a booth set up and be selling, like I guess they call them body beads and some other products and what have you at this Juneteenth festival. All right, so I ain't really got a problem with it, but I also plan, while I'm there helping her, to talk to people about the need to repeal the 13th Amendment and replace it with an amendment that actually abolishes slavery and makes no exception. So if I got an issue with Juneteenth, that's the issue with Juneteenth, when people who celebrate it aren't actually recognizing that, hey, slavery was never abolished. It just simply wasn't. And we can see that it clearly in the Constitution, the U.S. Constitution, and state constitutions. All right, so, but let's now get into, some of the responses to this bill, first being proposed and now set to become law. So, of course, we expected Republicans, white males especially, to come out against Juneteenth. Now, granted, it was only 12 Republicans that came out against it, so this truly was a bipartisan bill. All right. So, but one of those said that this Representative Rosendale issued the following statement opposing making Juneteenth a federal holiday. Let's call an ace an ace, he says. This is an effort by the left to create a day out of whole cloth to celebrate identity politics is part of its larger efforts to make critical race theory the reigning ideology of our country. Since I believe in treating everyone equally, regardless of race, and that we should be focused on what unites us rather than our differences, I will vote no. So that makes absolutely no sense. All right, it just doesn't. It simply doesn't. And this is basically a partisan attack on anything that black people show an interest in. Anything that the quote unquote left, whether you're looking at it, judging it based off the merits or not, but they're not basing it off of the merits, because they are using wrong terminology, They don't understand what critical race theory is, probably don't even know what the definition of theory is, and probably never ever critically think about things. All right. And that's been one of the biggest complaints about U.S. education that I've heard over the decades, is that they don't teach students to critically think about things. So this is basically just talking points from this man. St. Patrick's Day, I don't know if that's a federal holiday, but I know it's a day that people support. Is he against celebrating St. Patrick's Day, since that's wholly, created by the Irish to celebrate here in the United States? Does he see St. Patrick's Day as dividing us? Okay, so garbage. But listen, this garbage isn't just coming from white males. It's also coming from black people as well. As you can see in this next statement, white people getting paid to be off on Juneteenth ain't sitting right with me. So, I'm connected to a lot of people on social media. Anybody that's on social media, you'll even see stuff from people that you're not connected to, but who are connected to those who are connected to you. That's just simply how social media works. So I come across a whole lot of stuff on social media. So this is a black person, and I don't want to put anybody on spot or embarrass them. They're not here to defend themselves, and they're not elected, politicians or anything like that. But him saying white people getting paid to be off on Juneteenth ain't sitting right with him. Well, does it sit right with you for black people and other non-white people to get a paid day off on, let's say, President's Day or the 4th of July? Or, does he think black people should go to work on those days or what have you? Is that sitting well with him, that black people get paid days off too to celebrate these holidays, or not really celebrate them, but as the federal government observes these days? And I think Juneteenth to be like the 12th federal holiday. So again, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. We have these people who are race baiters and just want to play the race card with everything, whether it's warranted or not. So this person is more concerned about white people getting a paid day off, not recognizing that more than white people work for the federal government. Okay. Matter of fact, the federal government is probably one of the biggest employers of black people in this country. Now, let's move on to the next one. In this next one, this person says, as a low-wage worker, someone who gets paid hourly only while at work, I need all my days and all my money. An extra day off work actually hurts some of us low-wage hourly earners. Again, this is in response to Juneteenth becoming a federal holiday. First of all, this is a federal holiday, so that means the only people who will be getting off of work, all right, are federal workers. Think about U.S. postal workers. Think about maybe people who work at Homeland Security, maybe people who work at Social Security Administration. This has to do with federal jobs. This ain't got nothing to do with your low wage work at McDonald's. McDonald's is not going to give you Juneteenth off. McDonald's going to still have you coming in there flipping burgers on Juneteenth. Okay, so again, this doesn't make sense. And again, this speaks to a lack of critically thinking about things and just coming out with anything that don't even make sense or doesn't stand up to scrutiny. Again, this is a federal holiday. All right. And then another person on this same thread has said, hey, I work retail. I can't, they always give us the day off. That's a doggone lie. Every time there is a federal holiday, what you gonna see from these retail corporations or corporations that operate retail stores? You're gonna see a 4th of July sale. You're gonna see a President's Day sale. You're gonna see a Halloween sale. You're gonna see Christmas Day sales. And so I imagine you're gonna see Juneteenth sales, but they will not be giving their workers paid days off. Okay? Federal workers get paid to be off on federal holidays. So again, this is just knowing what you're talking about, or seeking out the information to make sure that what you're saying stands up to scrutiny and research. So again, the only criticism that I have of Juneteenth is when those Juneteenth organizers don't point out to the people that slavery was never abolished in this country. There's a bill in Congress right now to remove the loophole of the 13th Amendment. Actually, you will have to repeal the 13th Amendment and replace it with another amendment that says something like slavery shall and involuntary servitude, even though both of them mean the same thing, shall forever be abolished. Period. You don't need no except as punishment for crime. All right, so those are my thoughts. Please continue to support the channel, the platforms wherever you see this video on. Again, we are a nonprofit organization, and you can make a tax-deductible donation today to the Black Talk Media Project at blacktalkradionetwork.com. Peace and blessings to all. Have a safe Juneteenth.